Okay, so in our last session we understood about the views. Everyone completed assignment on the view. Okay, so in the next class, in today's session we'll understand about the structure and table type, also what is append and include structure. Okay, so what is structure now? Okay, what is structure? So structures is a template. Okay, structure is a template. It will not store any data in database. Okay, it is a template. Okay, it is just a template. It will not store any data in the database. Okay, it is basically used to define the data objects like internal table, work area, or field symbol. What is internal table, work area, we will see in the next chapter. So our field symbol. Okay, and used to define the data object, and also used as a used to define parameter interface for function model or smart forms or subroutines or methods, etc. Okay, so that's what the use of structure. Understood? It will never and ever store any data. It just template. Okay, it just act like skeleton, so it will not store any data. Understood, all of you? What is structure? Okay, so there are three types of structures. One is flat structure, nested structure, and deep structure. Okay, so these are the three types of structures we have: flat structure, nested structure, and deep structure. So what is flat structure? This structure use the data type reference as data element or predefined data type. Okay, so this structure use the data type reference as a data element or predefined data type. You know what is data element and also what is predefined data type, right? If for any column or any component of this structure is using the data type of data element or predefined data type, then we call it as flat structure. How this looks like, it just looks like this. Whenever you use the flat structure to create an work area or any internal table, it will just look like this. Okay, completely flat. Okay, let's create and see how to create the flat structure. Let's go to /n s11. Sorry, let me log into the server again. So let's log into the server. And here to create structure, you have to select radio button called data type, and then here you have to provide the structure name. Let's say Z material batch 20 structure, something like this. I'll create underscore str. Maybe we will use str. I'm just using short form for the structure, and say create. After that you have to select radio button structure here, then execute, and then you can provide the description here, material structure. Okay, and then here you can provide the fields. Let's say matnr field name, and the data element I'll use this standard data elements, empty art, and the same. It's good practice to use the field name as the data element name. So matl, otherwise you can also provide an extra description to it, that's also completely fine. Maybe menge, and the data element is meng underscore d. This is a quantity field, and meins and meins, that is the unit of measure. So whenever you have the currency or quantity field, you know that we also have to provide the reference table and reference field here. If you don't have it in the same table, in that case you have to use the different table or different structure. Since I have the unit of measure here itself, I can use it. Okay, for an example, if I don't have this unit of measure column here, okay, so I can take a reference of completely different table. Let's say I'll just take mara table and meins like this. If you have it here, in that case you can provide. Otherwise, if this is belongs to different table, in that case you can use the table name and also the reference field here. So after providing all these details, just click activate button, and I'll just store it here. You can observe, guys, all of it, all the fields that I have, or the components of this structure, all the components of structures are using only the data elements. You see, this is the data element, or you can also use the predefined type. Anyways, see, all of it is using data element or predefined type. So that's when the structure become flat structure. Understood? Are we clear on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so next one is nested structure. So what is nested structure then? So if any component of the structure use if any component of the structure, or else let's say if one or more component of the structure use another structure as a data type, then it's a nested structure. Okay, if one or more component of the structure use another structure as a data type reference, then it's a nested structure. That means this is the structure, okay. If any of the component of this structure is using the data type of another structure, again the data type reference is another structure. That means the structure inside structure, we call it as nested structure. Let's say maybe any field, any component, or one or multiple columns of the structures are using data type reference as another structure, then we call it as structure inside structure, or it is also called as nested structure. Understood? here the data type reference is data element, but here any of the component is using the data type reference as an another structure. Clear? Guys, understood? Okay, let's see that in the system. You'll know. I'll just create another structure, maybe nest underscore str, and let's create sales order. Create and select structure again, then execute, and here say nested structure. Okay, then let's say VBELN sale order number, then AUART the order type, and maybe I can also have VKORG the sales org, VKORG, then S or VTWG, or let's create an item structure. Maybe let's say we will have POSNR the item POSNR, then maybe we will have here maybe I'll just use material info, something like that, and then here as a data type reference I'll use ZMAT underscore str underscore B20. Okay, so if you can observe here, so this component, okay, the structure, this component is using another structure. You see here, this is a structure data type, right? If I double click on this, let me save. I double click here, and now you see it is data type is pointing to another structure. Then we call it as nested structure. This is one structure, again inside this another structure. That is what we call nested structure. Understood? Structure inside structure. Are we clear, guys? Hello? Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
Understood, all of you? Okay. So the next one is deep structure. Maybe before deep structure, let me cover what is table type, or here itself I'll just write. Okay, so what is deep structure? Before that, let's understand about table type. What is table type? Okay, again little bit, guys, to explain the structure and table type, there is a dependency on programming. Okay, just whenever we cover programming, I'll tell you when to go back and look into this topic. You have to go back and revise this topic one more time to understand it more better. There is a dependency on upcoming chapter. Okay, so table type describes the structure and functional attributes for an internal table. It describes the structure and functional attributes for an internal table. Okay, it describes the structure and functional attributes for an internal table. That means if you have created a table type, okay, let's say this is a table type and you're using this data type, the table type is also a data type. If you remember our data type class, this too comes under the complex data type, right? Structure and table type. So now we are understood about structure, now we are covering about table type. Okay, it's a data type. Okay, table type is a data type. Whenever you use this data type to define any object, so what it defines is an internal table. What is internal table? Internal table can store multiple records at program runtime. Okay, it can store multiple records at program runtime. What is work area? Work area can only store single row at a time. Okay, but internal table can store multiple records, multiple rows, or multiple data in the application layer. It's a memory allocated in application layer to store multiple data. Okay, this is what table type. It is used to define an internal table. Okay, it will not define the work area, it always defines an structure and functional attribute. That means how many columns should be there in an internal table, what is the data type of those columns, and the functional attribute is like what type of internal table it is, whether the internal table is sorted internal table, hashed internal table, or it is a standard internal table, how the internal table should function. Those function also defined by the table type. Understood? Hello, are we clear what is table type? Okay, let's create it. I'll show you how to create, but there is a dependency like I told you. Just come back again to this topic when we start the basic programming. So maybe when you understand what is internal table and work area, after understanding this you can visit the structure, this topic. Okay, again the second chapter, this one, so that you will understand better. Okay, so let's go back and create the table type. To create table type you have to say, let's say Z. Maybe I want to create an material table type. Okay, material underscore TT, or yeah, material underscore TT underscore B20. Okay, material TT means table type, and I say create. So you have to select a table type here, then execute here. Let's say material table type. Okay, so here there are other options, like if you select the first area button, you have an option to enter. You can provide the data element here, you can also provide the table here, you can also provide the structure or another table type or an view. You can provide anything here. Okay, if you select built-in data type, only the based on one column, or if you provide data element, only one column will be there in the table type. And if you select the reference type, this is mainly for object oriented ABAP, you don't have to worry now. So let me select line, or if you select built-in, you can just directly enter the data type. You know what is built-in type also, right? The data types which are already exist in the system. The line type means here you can provide the user defined data types like data element, tables, views, right? Those what or the structures, or another table type here. Let's provide an structure, let's say zmat underscore str underscore b20. This is the structure that we created. I'm going to use the structure here. If you go to initialization here, you can select what type of internal table you want to create when you use this data type. Okay, sorted, standard sorted, or hashed, or index table, what type of internal table that you want to create. Okay, how many number of rows the internal table can store, so that it can allocate some initial memory. And if you go to the primary key tab here, you can select the standard key. Standard key means if you provide the line type here as a structure, all the columns, all the character data types of the structure will become the key field of an internal table. If you provide table type, then not all of them will become key field, there will be no key field actually. If you provide a table, in that case most all the character data types again will become key field. System decides which column to become key field, right? So but if you select the line type here, in that case you cannot provide the table type here, you can only enter the structure or the table structure or the view. Okay, so that is what line type. And key components are like you can decide which are the columns that you want it as a key field of an internal table. Here you can decide. Okay, like I'm saying again, internal table, I know you're not aware about it, that's why I'm saying you also visit this topic again one more time. Okay, let's say which column you want as an key field, primary key field of an internal table, whether the key field of an internal table should be unique or non-unique, or also it is not specified, means generic. Okay, and internal table can also have secondary keys, like we have secondary indexes for the database tables. Okay, so just you can further secondary keys allowed or not allowed. If you specified system will not do anything, you can also create them. Okay, let's say I just go and click on create button. You can also say that material underscore type, I want it as a secondary key. Here you can material type, you can decide, just come down below, and you can select it. It should be non-unique sorted key or unique sorted key. You can select whatever you want to based on the column type, but in our case this will be an non-unique key and I want it as an sorted key. Okay, if you select key component, you have option to select which field you want it as a secondary key, like this. Okay, once you do all these things, you can come back and activate this. Okay, let me just go back and activate, save, and also save it here. So this is how you also create the table type. Understood how to create table type? It is not always mandatory to provide the secondary keys. It depends on you, up to you whether you want it or not. Depends on project, or even the primary keys. Okay, if you keep a standard key, that should be fine. System selects or system defines the key field automatically. Okay, but in case you want to go and define the key field of an internal table, then definitely you have to use these options. Are we clear on this? Hello, this is for table type. Understood or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. So what about others? Only Srinivas is saying yes.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So now the next one is the deep structure. So it's again a like nested structure, but there is a small difference in that. If one or more component of the structure using table type as a data type. Okay, that means if any of the column of this table is pointing to an table type, as a it's using the table type as a data type reference. Just a minute. Okay, if it is using an table type as a data type reference, then we call it as deep structure. Understood? Clear, guys? This is using structure, but deep structure is using another table type as a data type reference. Are we clear? Hello? Okay, let me show you. Maybe I'll just use, instead of nest, say deep, create a structure, and here deep structure I'll say. Now here and material info, I just go and use the table type that we created just now. So you see, this is a table type. If any of the column of the structure is pointing to or using the data type reference as another data type, okay, so then we call it as a deep structure. Understood? Just a minute, again I have to do it. save and activate it. Okay, it's very simple. If it is using a table type, then it will be deep structure. If uses an structure, then it is a nested structure. If uses the data element, then it's a then it is called as an flat structure. Simple. So anybody, any doubts till now? Are we clear? Structure and table type. Are we clear, guys?
Yes, Rajra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to know how to create these all, but what is the use of
Visit
this table
visit
when you are
this.
creating the
Yeah, you will
program?
understand when we discuss
Yeah.
program. Guys, just give me 5 minutes. There is a noise actually. So let's understand about the next topic, that is append and include structure. Okay, so what is append structure and also include structure? What is append and also the include structure, right? Now what is the use of append structure? So append structure or structure typically used to enhance the standard SAP table structure or standard structure. Okay, append structure typically used to enhance the standard SAP table structure or standard structure. Okay, that's what the purpose. Okay, typically means it's like it's not only used for enhancing it, but that's the main purpose of the append structure. But you can also enhance the custom structure. Nobody, or no custom table or custom structure, nobody stop you, but there is no use of doing it. Okay, that's the meaning of this. So let's say, and the next thing is append structure can exactly assign to one table or one structure. Okay, you cannot use append structure for multiple tables. That means there is no reusability in the append structure. Okay, there is no reusability. It is only used for one table or one structure. After using for one table or structure, you cannot reuse it again. Okay, so it will always add the fields at the end of table or structure. Okay, so it starts with append. It starts with dot append. It starts with dot append. Okay, so this is what append structure, and then include structure is like, or else let's create append structure first and then we will see about include structure. So let's go back and I'll show it for the custom table. I don't want to modify the standard tables and create issues. Maybe we will just use it for this custom table. Okay, the same step you have to follow to add columns to the standard table also. There is no difference in that. Okay, same process. Otherwise, let's see if I can. Only problem with the standard tables, it takes lots of time. Your system should be fast. Okay, so maybe this is a standard table MAKT. Let's add the columns to this. Okay, I want to add empty ART column to this table. Okay, this is standard table, I cannot edit. Okay, to edit this table you need an access key. Let me show you. Whenever you try to modify the table, it will ask you for the developer key, access key, actually not developer key, access key. So you have to register this in SAP Service Marketplace, and then they will give the key to you, and then you can modify. After that, any issue comes on this table, you're responsible for it. SAP will not support anymore. Okay, you have to provide that access key. You cannot edit the standard tables directly. I can only display. But how can I add fields to this table? That's what I'm trying to show you. Okay, enhancing the standard table. So for that, what you can do is, like, you can just click on the append structure button here. Click on the append structure and say z whatever you want to, mat underscore typ, something like this, and click enter, and then it will open another screen here. Let's say append material type, and then here maybe I want to append empty column, empty and empty. You can append n number of columns. You see there are so many options, but I'll show you one. That should be more sufficient, and I'll just save, and here the package, also the transport request. Okay, then activate it. Activation will take time because you're editing the standard table, or you're adding the custom field to the standard table, or whatever the field. Guys, one more thing that you have to do, I'll show you now. You'll get a warning message. Okay, so whenever you add any columns to the standard tables or structure, always remember it should start with ZZ. Okay, that is the ZZ or YY, ZZ or YY. Okay, I'll show you the warning. It shows a warning now. It takes time because it has to readjust all the places or all the programs or wherever the MAKD table is been used. For adjusting that, it takes time. Okay, so until it takes time, let's also discuss on include structure. Okay, or else we will wait. Let's not confuse it. Let's wait and then we will see. It takes time. Still taking time, maybe adjusting. See, it's take lots of time to adjust it. At least it is S4, it takes less compared to your ECC, but if you're doing it in ECC, then you should have very strong and powerful internet connection for this. You see, now it shows a warning saying that the fields are not lying in a customer namespace. You see, fields empty ART does not lie within the customer namespace, but it is adding. It's just a warning. See here, append structure starts with dot append, right? Whenever you add any structure to the standard table, it starts with the dot append. That's what I mentioned here. It will always add the fields at end. it always adds the fields at end of an table like this. Here you see it is adding. I don't have an option or where I can specify this is in the middle you add the field. It's not possible with append structure. Always adds the fields at end. Okay, it cannot be used for other table. That means if you try to use this for other table, this structure, then it throws an error. Okay, so you cannot add it. After that, yeah, so now you see we enhanced the standard table, right? This is standard table where we were not able to edit, but we could able to add the columns. Okay, so now remember, like I told you, it should always starts with Z and Z. This is how the custom field should start with. That's the namespace that you should remember. Okay, so always use or start field name with ZZ or YY. Okay, this is the customer namespace. Okay, always starts the fields with ZZ or YY. That will be the customer namespace. Understood, everyone? I have activated. Again, it takes time. Till then we will discuss on the include structure. Are we clear on append structure? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is include structure. Okay, so include structures are used for custom tables as a customer of SAP. You cannot go and add any columns to the standard table by using include structure. You can, what only you can do is you can only add those columns to the custom table. Okay, the include structure mainly used for reusing the fields. Okay, include structure helps us to reuse the fields in multiple tables or in multiple structures. Okay, so basically this concept is introduced because, let's say for example, 10 fields you want to have in both multiple tables. Okay, in table A also you want to have the fields, in table B also you want to have the same 10 fields. In that case you can create one structure and then reuse that structure in both tables or in both structures. Okay, so and include structure can be inserted anywhere in the table. Okay, you can go and insert the include structure anywhere in the table. You can also add it in the middle, it's possible. Okay, but append always adds at the end. Okay, so like append starts with dot append, it starts with dot include. Okay, it starts with a dot include. Okay, let's see, it is still activating. It will take time anyways. Let's go back. Okay, now you see there are some warnings. Let's display the warnings. Now you can see the warning that was coming earlier, it is gone. Let me check for an error. You see there is no warning now, right? The third warning. So other two warnings, I'll tell you what is enhancement category, we'll discuss, but the other one is gone. So now we can also see, if I check, no inconsistency, right? So this is how we can add. Let's go back and also discuss on include structure now. We also had created this table. Let's say I want to add a reuse structure somewhere. Okay, I want to create an reusable structure where it uses some additional fields. Okay, you can do one thing, go to edit, include and insert, and provide the structure name that you want to insert. Otherwise, let's say we had created one more table, right? So did we create another table? This one, right? I'll just go to this table and I'll add the material columns here. Let's say go to edit, include, insert. We also created a structure just now, z mat underscore str underscore b20. I'll just add the structure here. You see it's starting with dot include, and this is the structure. I'll activate it. So now you see whatever the columns that you added to the previous structure, those are added here. See, understood? This structure can also be again used in multiple structures. This is how you add any include structures in a table. It starts with dot include like this. Understood, guys? You can it is not like you can only add at the end. It can be added anywhere. You see I added these columns in the middle now. Are we clear? Hello?
Yeah. You see, even you can insert the single data element also, right? Wherever you want it.
Yeah.
In between the
But
structure.
not single data element. The use of include structure is to copy multiple columns, right? Reuse the multiple columns. So that's when you go with. If you want to add one
If you
column,
want,
then why you want include structure? You can just use the data element and field.
yeah, okay. Got it.
So guys, understood the difference between include structure and also the append structure?
Rajanish, like while using append, we are saying that the field that we have tried to add like structure, it's getting added to the last. What is the significance of it? Like while writing a query, would it make a difference?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
No, what I was asking is like if we are using append, so we said that the structure is getting added to the last. And while include, if we are using include structure, then here we can see that on screen the include is having 4 or 5 fields related to Mara. So they are added in between. Like what difference would it make if the structure is at the last or at somewhere in between? Like while writing query, would it make it faster? Like what is?
No, there is no difference, but I just wanted to say that you cannot add the columns in the middle using append structure. So you
Okay,
cannot
that's the basic
even
difference.
change the structure that is already there. The option for you is only to add the fields at the end.
Okay, so that is the basic difference between append and include.
Yeah.
But search criteria wise, it would not make any difference.
No differences.
Okay.
Okay, so any other doubts?
So this same include structure you cannot use for standard tables, right?
You cannot
Only
use
standard
include
table
structure for the standard table. The reason is you cannot enter into the standard table in change mode. Is it possible for you to enter? You can only go in display mode. If you go and check edit, it's been disabled.
Yeah. Yes.
Understood?
Then in that case, if we want the same, if we want the same fields, means like a MAKT table only I want, all the fields, then I will have to create a copy of it, like how it is.
For standard table or custom table?
For standard table, suppose if I want to insert a field into MAKT,
You can do one more thing, like inside append structure, it's editable, right?
okay,
Go and add include structure.
okay. So in the
Let's
append
say I
structure
just
only we
want
can
to
add.
tell me any table which is small.
MARC or MARD.
MARC, yes, MATNR again. So we should not have the duplicate column. Let's say UFK. Then activate. It takes time again, okay? Understood, right? You see. Got it? You can also include another structure inside an append structure. It's possible. You can do that. That's why I said typically, right? That's the main purpose, but you can always do whatever you want to do. Experiment. It's possible. Got it? So that means you can add a MAKT structure here only directly. Right? Understood?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Any doubts, guys? So far so good. Okay, so just one more thing that I wanted to say. So enhancement category. Okay, so there is something like if you go to extras and here enhancement category, you can restrict like SAP. If you're trying to add custom fields to the standard SAP tables, SAP can restrict, but in custom table anyways you can change this option anytime. But in case of standard, SAP can restrict what type of columns you can add it to that table. Whether the column can be enhanced deep, that means it can accept any data type, even the string or the raw format. If column can be enhanced but only character or numeric data types, only those data types you can be added. Okay, cannot be enhanced means you cannot add any additional column to the table. Okay, if this is selected, then columns cannot be added. This is makes more meaningful when it is for the standard tables, for the SAP delivered tables, but not to the custom tables, because you always can change the custom table settings anytime, because you can enter in change mode, but more meaningful for the standard table. That's what the warning that we were getting, that enhancement category is missing. Let's go and select the enhancement category, sorry, extras, and then enhancement category, and then here I select can be enhanced character or numeric. I copy and then I check for error. You see when the warnings will not come. Okay, that's what enhancement category. What type of columns can be added to the table in future? That's what enhancement category defines. Understood? All of you, are we clear on this?
Yeah.
Any doubts till now? What is difference between table type and structure? What is difference between append and include structure? This is what you may get on this topic. Okay, so if you don't have doubts, we'll end our session for today, and then we'll connect tomorrow. Tomorrow we will complete the data dictionary. Okay, only few topics are remaining here, so we'll complete data dictionary tomorrow, and maybe from next week we'll start programming. So that's all guys for today, and thank you so much for your time.